Welcome back to Green Connections. We help you live green, work green, and earn green. During the holidays especially, we tend to go to concerts, and here at Green Connections, we like to cover the arts, as you probably know. So today, I'd like you to meet Jennifer Reagan. She's Director of Sustainability at AEG Entertainment. AEG may be familiar to you because you might have attended an event at one of their venues, or because of the Michael Jackson tragedy. Jennifer spoke at the Schneider Electric Conference recently, and where we met, and she spoke about a key issue that was both important in the Michael Jackson tragedy and in sustainability. What, pray tell, could I possibly be talking about, you're probably thinking? Well, it's insurance. Think about it. The changes that need to be made to a facility to increase its energy efficiency, reduce its carbon footprint, for example, may well affect the insurance coverage of the building. So I'd like you to listen to my conversation with Jennifer Reagan. I think you'll find it fascinating. I was very interested that you were talking about how some of the sustainability initiatives you want to do, you can't do because of insurance issues, which is really interesting to me. So can you talk a little bit about, you talk about solar panels and things like that, some of the lighting issues. Can you talk a little bit about that? That's kind of unique.
Yes. I was referring specifically in the presentation to getting the insurance for the roof cost covered when you added the weight of solar panels to it, considering what the maximum weight of an event's lighting rigging would be, light rigging. So what's unique about our industry is having our venues be flexible to the needs of the client, which could be as simple as, not that a hockey game is simple, but in terms of light rigging, it's very simple, or to the Grammys, which is one of the most extensive lighting systems, or live telecast where they have cameras hanging from the roof. So when we were looking at building a solar panel system, we wanted to maximize the roof square footage, but we also needed to consider the weight. And so we took the most recent Grammys, which was in 2007, and used the numbers of their light rigging to estimate what the rigging would need to be, because they were the highest weighted rigging system. And then,
sort of a worst-case scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
To clarify for the audience, the Grammys are held at the Staples Center, which is in your portfolio of properties.
Thank you, yes. So AEG manages and owns 58 venues. And so these are issues that we might deal with on a local level at the O2 in London or Minneapolis with the Target Center. But at Staples Center specifically, we installed solar panels in 2008, which were the largest system of its time on any sports facility. And it was a big success for us. We were very happy with it. But we could have done more in terms of more solar panels if our primary business wasn't hosting events, but that's our primary business, and we want to make sure that's front and center. So what I was referring to was not being able to get the insurance on the roof membrane if we were to have a heavier weighted solar system. But
is it the solar system that was too heavy, or is it that the lights couldn't be hung from a ceiling that had solar panels on it?
It was a maximum weight that the roof could bear, and we were looking at both angles. So what was the maximum weight of lighting we wanted to be able to have, and then the net of that between the maximum the insurance would cover was what we could do in solar panels. I bet you if we did it now, it wouldn't be economically feasible for us to change out, but I do think there are lighter panels even only 5-6 years after.
So what are the top 5 maybe issues that facilities face in sustainability? You talked a little bit about your goal. You talked a lot about your goals, but talk about the top 5 priorities and how you manage them. Which ones you can control more than others, and how you go about achieving them.
Thank you. So I always like to say and give frame for our audience that AEG is in 3 industries: facility management, live entertainment, and sports management. And so that we manage sports teams, we manage live events, and then the facilities where those occur. And with that, we are affiliated with over 100 events. More than 100. We're affiliated with over 100 facilities, of which only 58 of them do we have a contract with, a management contract, where we manage electricity, natural gas, water.
So you can only really control 58.
Exactly. So our environmental program, although we create tools that can be used by any of the 100, and sometimes are, we are only measuring the footprint of those 58, which is a huge accomplishment. We're the first in our industry to measure that footprint. But we focus in on the 58 because that's where we can leverage change and improvement. And I think you asked me, how do we prioritize? And it really is a combination of looking at the local conditions where the venue is. We want the program to reflect the community on all levels. So, for example, in states or regions with water drought, we will focus on water efficiency. So in California, Southern California, we were the first very early adopting waterless urinals. So all of our venues have waterless urinals. It's 468 waterless urinals. Might be 486. Sometimes I flip those numbers. In Australia, we use a lot of water-free technology and reclaimed water in our venues out there. So it really is a matter of, in some cases, the resource limitation or the cost of the resource makes it a very simple business case that makes a lot of sense to the community. And in other areas, maybe the municipal structure doesn't have a program, but we recognize the value of bringing it, and that's really around recycling. So recycling is one of those things where some cities have it, some cities don't.
Recycling is a huge issue, and there's a movement now. In fact, some of the consumer product companies are launching to actually take recycling out of the hands of the municipalities because they, frankly, are not doing the greatest job one could do. I mean, only 8% of the plastic we generate in this country is recycled. What are some of the other priorities? You talked a little bit about water. How much LED lighting or how much energy efficient lighting can you do in a venue of this magnitude? I mean, I would imagine that these are really where your costs are, and how do you pass that along to either the guest who's buying a ticket or to the concert promoter, or how are those costs worked out?
Well, energy is the second greatest spend, and second only to labor at our organization. And within energy, lighting and HVAC are the top two within that category. So lighting is a huge focus for us, and we've definitely been systematically doing continual upgrades. So when we are looking at changing up bulbs, if there's an easy transition to a different, more efficient bulb, we do that. If it's a more advanced ballast change, we actually look at Staples Center in LA saved $80,000 by changing 2,000 halogens out to LEDs. That was a pretty simple transition.
80,000 over what period of time?
A year. That's an average. It's about 2% of the energy consumption was saved in that one change. And then we also have small venues like the Midland Theater in Kansas City, which changed out 4,000 of their bulbs in front on their marquee and saved 16,000, which was actually overtime.
Do any of those savings get passed down to the guest in a ticket?
In truth, what's nice about it is the cost of those don't get passed on either. So in terms of the way our economic model is different in every city, and we have an operating budget that can sometimes be tied to ticket sales and sometimes isn't. It really depends on the model that the city or the owners developed. And in most cases, it's really about driving down that operation cost.
So just to wrap up, because I know you have a train to catch. You mentioned the LA and the metro system. In full disclosure, I ran the marketing for the rollout of the LA mass transit system in the past. And so it's near and dear to my heart. And some of the incentives and partnerships that you're talking about were some of the initiatives that I started, frankly. I know what it's like to get Los Angeles unstapled from their cars. It's not an easy experience, despite the fact that they complain about traffic. And I've been on the 405 where you're going literally 5 miles an hour, and it's not pretty. So talk a little bit about the partnerships that you're doing with the public transit systems where the concert goer or the sports event attendee is going to get an economic benefit from using public transportation at the same time.
Well, you would have been involved in this, but in Los Angeles, the LA Kings have had a long-standing relationship with Metro, which is the LA City Municipal Transit. And if you show your Metro ticket, which is a little harder to do with the tap card. So if you show or demonstrate some level of Metro use, you can get a discount on your ticket and or a discount on concessions occasionally. But one of the great things, I gave up my car when I got this job, which was 6 years ago.
In LA? LA or without a car? Yes. God, I did that a long time ago, but I can't imagine doing it now.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I take an express bus to work, and I take the red line to my office meetings, and I move between Muni lines and city lines. And
you're on my train.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
By the way, we had a kids contest to name MetroLink.
Oh, that's fun. Well, and they have great public art on the trains, but one of the things they're always advertising is the Kings, and they have transit TV, and they're, all of a sudden, I'm in there and I hear the buzzer that I normally hear in an arena, and I'm watching the transit TV, and they're like, come to the Kings game, and get your 10% discount, or... So it's a great program, and in some other cities, like Minneapolis, we're able to encourage biking, and we really use our messaging platforms from our websites, our social media, or even the events in our venues to try to get people to carpool, take transit.
Do you have charging for electric vehicles if people drive an electric car?
We do. Not at all of our venues, but in California we have 8 at LA Live, which is where Staples Center resides. It's an entertainment district. We helped install some in Rose Garden in Portland, and we're working on that right now. We're looking at expanding the program.
Great. Well, I have 100 other questions for you, but I'll let you go to your train to my hometown, New York City. Jennifer's handle is Redhead Green Girl.
Yes, thank you.
So apparently she's tweeting all kinds of fun facts about conservation. So thank you so much for being on Green Connections, and have a great trip back.
Thank you very much, Joan.
Isn't Jennifer fabulous? So the next time you attend a sporting event or a concert, look around. See if you see signs of sustainable practices like recycling or solar panels. And let us know. Let us know what you see. Let us know where you are. And let us know if you want to give them a round of applause or a bop on the head. I was at the Renaissance Fair earlier this year, for example, and they had no recycling. I couldn't quite figure that out. So they got a bop on the head from me for that. So thank you for joining us. Let us know, what's your experience with socially responsible investing? What trends do you see for 2014? What part of your goals relates to sustainability and green energy? Are you going to increase the energy efficiency of your home? Are you going to give up your car like Jennifer did and do a ride-share program? Or are you going to buy an electric car? Maybe you're going to buy a Tesla or a Volt, which is a hybrid, or a hybrid vehicle. Let us know. Email us at info@greenconnectionsradio.com. Follow me on Twitter @Joan Michelson, and post it for us on Facebook. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a happy new year, and we'll see you next time.
Capital Audio Post, your one-stop shop for your post-production needs. 703-712-8757.
Our services include video editing, sound design, sound mixing, ISDN recording, and many other media-related services.
Let us finish your project no matter where you are, across the U.S. or across the world. Go to www.capitalaudiopost.com. Call us at 703-712-8757.
Let us know how we can help you finish your production.